Hi, I'm Phoenix Alexander, author of Turning Trials into Triumphs the Way the Phoenix. This book is available on Amazon. And I've been a licensed massage practitioner since 1989. One of the things I do is to help people overcome trauma. And in my book, there is a chapter on a specific kind of body work for healing that I developed called interactive trauma release. So I'm out on a cruise in the middle of the Caribbean, and every time I turn on the television, I am fed scenes of terrorism and fear, and many people are understandably horrified by the terrorism that has been perpetrated in France and other countries. And we're all living in a state of fear, anxiety, and disbelief that these things could happen. So this is where I would like to help teach you some acupressure points and reflexology points to help you when you're in an undesirable emotional state, to change from that undesirable state into a calmer, more relaxed and empowering emotional state. And I'll show you these reflexology and acupressure points in a moment. The other thing that we're doing with the acupressure points is to help change your nervous system state. So when you're in a fight or flight state, you're in a sympathetic nervous system state, and we want to move you into a calm, sedate, parasympathetic state. So that's one of the things that the acupressure points and reflexology points do. Another thing that we're doing is to create emotional balancing or change the emotional state that you're in. Specifically, we'll be working with some of the emotions that become very intense if you have post-traumatic stress. Many people with post-traumatic stress have years of debilitating emotional states that are very disempowering, and this will help with that. In my experiences, I've worked with PTSD clients. We'll also be working to release anger, frustration, fear, anxiety, depression, emotions like that. So my little disclaimer is I will not be assuming any risk or liability for you using these acupressure points. Use them at your own risk. That being said, they've been around for thousands of years, and I have used acupressure and reflexology extensively in my own healing process. So let's talk a little bit about how you use them specifically. So you'll be using the points on your body in direct pressure or little small circles called circular friction. And you'll hold the point for a few minutes, and you can work through a series of points for several minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And you'll notice that when you hit an active point or a point that needs to be balanced, it's out of balance, then it will be tender, sometimes to the point where it feels like it's bruised. So we're working to stimulate your body's natural healing and wellness responses. So let's begin with some of the acupressure points. These are my go-to points that I use on clients and on myself when I'm in a negative emotional state that I want to change. The first one is conception vessel 17, and it's found here on the sternum. So you would locate the bottom of your sternum, the xiphoid process, and have 4 fingers up from that. It's going to be in the center of your chest right here. For most people, that feels pretty sore, almost bruised. And this is one where you just hold it and take a nice deep breath. In fact, I can't even touch the point without taking that deep cleansing breath. So with each point, you're going to hold the point as you take a number of deep cleansing breaths. So this is conception vessel, sometimes called the central meridian. Another one is on the top of the head. It is governing vessel, and it's right here at the top. So it's up from the center of the ears and the midline right here. Governing vessel 17, and it helps with post-traumatic stress and trauma and fear, that sort of thing. This is another point. It's located above the eyes. There's a little hollow point right here, just above the color part of your eyes. I was introduced to this point in a Touch for Health program, where the instructor asked us to think of something that had been deeply traumatizing to us, a memory, and then hold these points. And as we held the points, we'd close our eyes and let that memory play out in our mind. And within a short period of time, the emotions completely dissipated. So this is another one that works really well here, gallbladder 14. Another one that I really like to use is called letting go. It's lung 1. So you'd locate the edge of your shoulder and come in a little bit. There's going to be a pointy process here. It's called coracoid process. It's from the back of the scapula. Just underneath that and to the midline, you'll find a hollow, a pretty tender point on most people. This one is called letting go, and it's really good for releasing old emotions and letting go of unhealthy attachments to people and events. So this one's letting go. The next one is large intestine 4. This one should not be used on pregnant women ever. You would use this right as you're going into labor. But this one is for emotional and physical pain. It works on any kind of pain. It's a master tonic point. It's also going to help calm you down. Another point that I wanted to show you is as you make a fist. This is pericardium 8. So where your naughty finger is, instead of when you're frustrated flying that naughty finger, make a fist and see where that ends. Right here is the point. And this is one you use for calming. It helps you with your anger, reduce the anger and calm you, and provide a sedating effect. So those are my go-to points that I like to use. There's quite a few more, but I'm trying to keep this brief. I like to now show you the point on the feet that I use when I'm doing a reflexology treatment. This one is the reflex point for the solar plexus, which is where our emotional center is. And so when I do a reflexology treatment, I just hold this point and have my client take a few deep breaths. So if you're in a difficult emotional state, you can kick off your shoes and hold this point and take a few deep breaths. So hopefully those points will help you and that you can remember what they are, and you'll find more resources on my website, which is www.mynameisPhoenix.com. That's MYNAMEISPHOENIX. Thank you. We'll see you next time.